I find it surprising that, despite there being almost a 3-year period since Hellsing's Fire was released on the App Store, few, if any, developers have tried to replicate its light and shadow puzzle mechanics. Penumbra managed to give the idea a fresh spin by adding it to a platformer, but Dammit by Poyo goes back to the original concept, albeit with more emphasis on precise and speedy solutions. Your motivation is a fairly noble one. You play the role of the uncle of 3 seedlings who constantly find themselves on dark and dangerous planets. By utilizing the sun, moon, rain, and even local wildlife, you'll be able to grow and absorb the rambunctious space planet seedlings to save them from the dark and corrupting influences that surround them. Oh, and if you needed even more motivation to save them, each seedling acts as one of the 3 stars for completing the stage. Unfortunately, there's a small problem you'll have to overcome. The very things that help you grow can also destroy the mushrooms and shadowy creatures on the planet, releasing a poisonous corruption contained within them. As such, you'll need to use the mountains to block and channel the life-giving or destroying light and water, directing it towards each seedling in turn. Although unleashing the corrupting poison can often be considered the end of the level, it's possible to use the red growth from the uncle to contain it, adding a sort of risk-reward if you're able to outgrow or otherwise hold back the corruption. While there are multiple methods for growing, the game only occasionally mixes things up by getting the player to combine them. It limits the game's complexity, especially when each area ends up feeling more like a short tutorial that cuts off and replaces the controls you've just learned with something new. As such, Dammit never really feels satisfying in its completion, which is a shame as it's a concept that bears far more exploration. This has been Andrew with AppSpy.com. We review, you decide.